Three, two, one.
Welcome to another episode of the Hot
Seat.
Pod. I'm Anthony. To my right, I got the GOAT host himself, the OG, the co-owner, CEO, Wilson Way Wang.
Sheesh. Not my full government name, but I'll accept that.
Partial. We'll take partial credit there. Today we're going to be going over our top 20 fantasy running backs for next season. But first, Will, let them know where they need to check us out.
Check us out everywhere, man. All over social media, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok. What else?
I don't know. Usually I say Twitter instead of X.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever said X on the show.
Hey.
So good job. Good job being
Just want to represent the new platform,
Mm-hmm.
We're all over all that. Checked out our last video. We talked about top receivers. If you didn't check that out, go and look at that before you watch this video.
Yep.
We got some great insight for you, great outlooks for running backs here. So if you're interested in that, and if you're interested in winning leagues, please watch the rest of the video.
Dude, my list came out very differently than what I thought it was going to come out.
It did. Me too.
Usually I write it out and kind of am put everyone in order before I do the list and then fix it as it goes. And there's a lot of dudes who went up, went down, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we could just kick it off with number 20. My number 20, I have Brian Robinson Jr. I'm getting pretty high on him.
Yeah.
I think shipping off Dotson, letting Diami Brown is good for the Commanders. Let him cook. Eckler isn't a real number one there. Mm-hmm. And then he was 22 last year, so jumping up 2 spots I don't think is unrealistic.
Yeah. No, definitely. I really like him. I had him last year in one of my fantasy leagues. He really knows how to ground and pound with the ball. And then also Austin Eckler coming in. Obviously he's 30 now, so it doesn't really seem to come as much of a threat. I think he's going to be more receiving upside for Washington. But I do feel like his first year in Washington, he might, split some of the carries with Brian Robinson. I think later down the line, definitely Brian Robinson's going to be the clarified RB1. But right now, they gave him the contract, so it's
I feel like he'll be in Antonio Gibson's role, though. I don't think it'll be too much different than what they did with Antonio Gibson. Mm-hmm. I know he's obviously a better player, but I think Brian Robinson also is going to develop, and he's a really good running back.
No, definitely. He just got shot in the foot, that's all.
That's it. Real quick, I do realize I think I left Rachaad White off my list, which is a dude that I'm pretty high on this year. So
it's okay.
Sorry for doing that, guys, but he'd probably be just outside my top 10.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, Rachaad White is actually the person I had next at 20.
Okay, talk about it.
Rachaad White, I mean, honestly, I was kind of high on him up until I made this list, and then a lot of recent news. I feel like he's kind of fell down for me a little bit. I think he's still a solid running back. I feel like people should draft him in cases. But I put him at 20 just because it's only his third season, and they have 2 other running backs. One of them they just drafted, and another one is entering his second season. So it's 3 young guys in the backfield, trying to battle for that starting job. Obviously, right now, Rachaad White has that lockdown. But it's within the next couple, or I guess this is just this fantasy season, right?
Yeah.
So
this year.
Yeah, but I mean,
no dynasty.
But I do have all these other 19 running backs better than him. So it's honestly a solid league when it comes to running backs.
Dude, he was the running back 8 last year. He had 9 total touchdowns. I don't know if that number really gets lower than 9 either. I don't see a reason for it to drop off, barring no injury. So, I mean, I think he's good. I think the other dudes behind him are kind of fake, fake threats. I believe in him.
Yeah.
Who's behind him? I know they drafted someone.
They drafted Bucky Irving, and then they also have Sean Tucker at RB3.
Sean Tucker, bro. Come on.
You don't focus out Sean Tucker?
Nah, I don't fuck with Sean Tucker one bit.
Yeah.
My number 19, I have Kyren Williams here. You think that's low?
That's pretty low.
He's someone where Blake Corum actually scares me. And he didn't scare me until I started kind of doing a little bit more research for this.
Yeah.
But I feel first of all, Blake Corum was one of their older running backs in this draft, right? They could have drafted a Braylon Allen or a Bucky Irving who was behind him and younger, and like let Kyron hoop, and then like if these guys are better, start them. But you draft Blake Corum for the now. You don't draft him off of potential. I think like they didn't need to draft a running back, but they still did. There was better players available like Troy Franklin or Jatavion Sanders, who Jatavion Sanders fills a hole that they need in tight end, being that Higbee's hurt. Colby Parkinson's a starter who's going to be good for fantasy, but I don't think I look at Colby Parkinson like he's my tight end, you know? Mm-hmm. And then Corum, like the argument is like, oh, Kyron does everything. Corum runs kind of different. Like Kyron did everything for them last year. So having a player who kind of plays different from Kyron is good. Like Corum's going to take touches from Kyron. Like that's just is what it is. It might not be a lot, but a 70-30 split compared to getting damn near 100% of the touches, it's different for sure.
Okay.
Well, can you move the wire away from the computer because it's tapping? It's a lot of noise.
Like that?
Yeah, try not to move it too much.
Okay. I'll leave it like this. Keep my hand frozen. Yeah, I mean, I really like Blake Corum. I mean, they drafted him in the 3rd round last year or this year, I mean. But like obviously Kyron Williams is a clarified RB1. And I think Sean McVay, like he has a lot of praise for Kyron, you know. I feel like Kyron won't have that season where he did last year, but I think he's still going to be that top candidate in running backs.
So, I mean, I guess we're going to find out where you have him, but what would you say Kyron's floor is next year? Like to finish-wise.
Floor could be 19, could be 15. I would say like around 15? That range, 15, 19.
I could see him finishing as like the RB 13 to 24. If everyone stays healthy, obviously.
That's like his floor for you?
That's like his ceiling and floor for me.
Ceiling? Okay.
But you definitely have him probably higher than me, so.
Yeah.
Who's your 19 looking like?
19, I got James Cook. I really like James Cook in this situation in Buffalo. Obviously, they lost Diggs. So I feel like he's going to get utilized a lot more in the offense. A lot of young guys on the offense, too. I think he just broke 1,000 last season in Buffalo. So I see him repeating that again. Not much else to say, honestly. He has no other competition in the backfield either.
Ray Davis.
No, I'm scared.
I like James Cook a lot more, and I'll save my arguments for when we go into that. But for now, like James Cook had such a good year last year, rushing for 1,100 yards. He's one of the only stagnant pieces on the Bills' offense, meaning like he's one of the only dudes that's still there from last year. You know, so they're safe with him, and I don't think this Bills team is going to be as bad as a lot of people think.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to there could be a 9-10 win team. You know, for sure. So I don't think they'll be under 500. I don't think that's possible with Josh Allen there. I have him higher, but I'll save it. Save it. Number 18. This isn't the podcast for this guy, sadly. I know a lot of you guys probably have him in your top 5, top 8. Devon A-Chain for me is number 18, bro. You are backing up a dude who had how many touchdowns last year? 18 touchdowns. You know? 18 touchdowns last year. You're backing him up. If Raheem falls off, like, what's that? 15 touchdowns? 12 touchdowns? Like, that's still that dude, you know? I just need to see A-Chain pass Raheem. I'm not going to be the type of dude that's going to try to predict the year he does it. Once he does it, cool. I'll put him in that elite conversation because yards per attempt and all that stuff, he's a dog. But I just can't disrespect Raheem like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Raheem, he is 32 years old now. And I think that's really come to the age where running backs start to, like, regress. But, like, we see guys like Derrick Henry and, like, other guys, you know, they don't really,
he's a freak.
It doesn't really happen to him. I think Raheem Mostert, the thing with him, it's just, like, he's all about speed, right? So it's, like, if he, like, gets injured, then it's, like, it opens up for Devon A-Chain.
But Raheem's gotten hurt before.
Exactly.
A lot.
Yeah.
And, like, it's kind of crazy how he always comes back. Let me see this. I feel like Raheem's had 2, like, career-ending injuries.
No, for sure. He for sure did.
And it's just like, does he come back every time and he looks good, bro?
Dude, yeah, especially at 32 years old. He's just a freak in nature.
He is. He's good, bro. So,
yeah, it's kind of funny because it's like Devon A-Chain, he got injured last year too. So it's like their whole backfield is just like high risk, high reward, you know?
Yeah, it definitely is. But I think like argument for A-Chain and I guess for Raheem too, who I'll talk about in a bit. Like, this offense really isn't going anywhere. It's going to put up points.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to need their running backs to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Who's your 18?
18, I have my boy, Zach Moss. You don't like Zach Moss, man.
Nah.
You don't like Zach
He's
Moss.
not even going to be their RB1, dude. It's Chase Brown season, baby.
Stop it, bro. Let me talk about my boy.
You better have came ready for this. You better have prepared nights and days just studying Zach Moss.
Dude, Zach Moss. Okay, so, I mean, last year, right, he finished 27. Obviously, with Jonathan Taylor coming back at the end of the year, kind of like taking away the workload from him.
Yeah.
Now, he only really has to compete with Chase Brown, who hasn't really even proven himself, honestly.
He hasn't.
I think Zach Moss has proven before in his previous years. And I think Cincinnati is a team and year where he breaks out. I think Cincinnati's kind of like in a weird timeline where, like, you know, obviously they went from Super Bowl to, like, you know, non-playoffs. Now they're trying to get back in. I think Zach Moss has the ability to bring them back into the rushing game. There's a reason why they didn't bring back Joe Mixon and he left Houston. I think, you know, they see Zach Moss in some great potential here.
I don't think that was Zach Moss, bro. I think that was Chase Brown that got him up out of there. I'm gonna be honest, bro, because like I feel like when we were talking about Zach Moss last year, like looking at his Pro Football Reference, it doesn't look as amazing as like it felt. Like he's never rushed for over 800 yards.
Well, I mean, he's always been a backup.
That's what I'm saying though. Like always been a backup. You still gonna be a backup, motherfucker. You're gonna back up Chase Brown next year because he's injured. He's not even gonna start the year, I believe. So
They're preserving him.
Nah, they should sit his ass. Keep him sit. Chase Brown to me he's gonna be that guy this year. He's not on my 20 list because I can't do that, but I do really like Chase Brown next year.
Uh-huh.
He'll be on my 20 list next year. At number
Okay.
17, this is a dude I wanted to put way higher. Had to drop him down after doing a little bit of research. Najee Harris.
Najee Harris?
Yeah, I had him in my top 10 originally, and I did some research today, actually, and I don't think he's going to have as good of a season as I thought. I think the passing offense definitely helps. Mm-hmm. Like, as much as y'all want to shit on Russ and Justin Fields, like, he's better than Kenny Pickett. Like, that just is what it is. Last year was Najee's most efficient rushing the ball. He finally hit over 4 yards per attempt. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are, like, worried about Jalen Warren, but I'm not really. Like, I don't think Jalen Warren is as good as, like, I think Najee, since he got to the league, and maybe it's because he's from Alabama and was just a great running back, has had so many haters for kind of no reason. Like, I don't know why y'all hate Najee so much. Y'all pray on his downfall.
Everyone hates Najee. It's crazy.
They hate it for what, bro? Like, he's playing with Kenny Pickett. He's playing with Mason Rudolph, and he's still able – I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like he's Derrick Henry, but he's still putting up numbers. Last year he had 0 receiving touchdowns. I think that number won't be 0 next year. I think it could be 3, 4-ish.
Yeah.
Interesting fact as well. Najee's senior year, he played 13 games. Guess how many touchdowns he had?
0?
No.
10?
No.
More than that? Like 15?
More.
20? 25?
26.
Sheesh.
He was a monster, bro.
He was a dog, man.
He got his draft capital. I think he's still a monster. I don't think he's going to get 26 touchdowns this year, but I think definitely the receiving will go up, and I think them being more of a threat on offense in the passing game will make him more of a threat in the run.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the reason why like a lot of people hate on Najee is because they look at his rookie season coming that time, and after that, I think a lot of people expected him to be that top tier running back.
Yeah.
But his fall off was pretty insane.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of people were like probably drafted him that year after, and like they saw that he had no efficiency, so they're pretty much haters on him.
Yeah, I think he I agree with you there. I think he definitely had a sophomore slump, but I think he bounced back pretty hard last year.
He bounced back for sure.
Yeah.
I actually don't have him on my list.
Really?
Yeah. It's because you have Arthur Smith as, offense coordinator. It's very questionable, how he's going to run that offense because, he ran it pretty funky in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, and he used 2 running backs, so it's like we already know Jalen Warren's probably going to get utilized
A lot.
A lot more too. So it's a question for me. So I didn't have him. But for me, 17, I had James Conner. I think James Conner.
What?
I think James Conner has been a solid running back, honestly, his whole career.
Yeah. I don't think he's gonna be the starter by the end of the year either.
End of the year?
End of the year, I think Trey Benson takes his job. That's the rookie there, right?
Yeah, Trey Benson. I mean, that could be the possibility, but finishing 17 as our RB 17, I think it's still possible for him. I think he's had injuries here and there, but James Conner, I feel like James Conner is kind of like that boring running back where it's like no one really drafts.
Bless you.
No one really drafts, but like he still comes out and like provides like some good numbers for you.
Yeah, I mean, if Trey Benson doesn't take his job, like, that's not a bad take at all. He was the RB 15 last year.
Yeah.
The year before that, the RB 19. So, in limited games, too. He played 13 both years. I think when he plays, yeah, I agree with you. But if he goes down and Trey Benson takes over, bro, like, he might not see the field again. I mean, he's going to be a committee back. But, I mean, like, we saw last year, DeMercado got a lot of touches for them. And now they have Trey Benson there. Like, there's levels to this shit. And Trey Benson is going to be a good running back in the NFL. I really believe in him. So, kind of scares me a little bit to take him.
No, definitely. I think it just really matters about health.
Yeah.
With him, so.
True. My number 16, this is where I had Raheem Mostert. 31-year-old running backs shouldn't have 18 touchdowns in a year.
Yeah.
You know, and that just is what it is. He was the RB2 last year.
I think won't happen again.
Yeah, the only thing that really scares me about this, bro, the offense was number 2 in points per game last year, and I'm not sure if they stay there. Because I don't think they got worse, but a lot of teams got better. You look at like the 49ers, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a better offense. KC, Ravens, Texans, Lions, Bears, Packers, Colts, Falcons, I think all could jump them. I wouldn't bet on it, but I mean, if you have that many teams competing for that, you're not going to stay at number 2. I'm sorry. They'll probably be a top 5 offense, top 6 offense. Yeah. But I think a lot of, like, the Falcons, I think, could be a top offense next year, and Bijan's going to eat there.
Eat there. He's definitely going to eat for sure.
Oh, he eating.
Yeah, the thing with Raheem, I actually didn't have him on my list either.
Really?
Yeah, so it's because I had his partner, actually. But
his partner. That's the
yeah, I mean, the question, honestly, with Miami is, like, how's Tua going to perform? Like, is he going to be the same? He's like, his whole physique is, like, all different now. So it's, like, we don't know what to expect, really, from him. Yeah, I didn't have Raheem on my list. I mean, he's a great running back, honestly. Finished RB2, but didn't have him.
Dang, that's crazy. The RB2 to not top 20.
I mean, he could probably run that 20, 25 range. But like you said, they finished as a number 2 offense.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be the same.
I don't think it'll be the same either. But I don't know. I'll put respect on his name.
Yeah. Yeah. 16 for me, I had Aaron Jones.
Dude, he's ugly.
He is ugly.
Ugly motherfucker.
And he's balding too. But Aaron Jones, like, dude's gonna get so much, like, attention now since, like, JJ McCarthy's gone. You got Sam Darnold there now, and also Jefferson and Addison. Like, they're not gonna be able to, like, get the ball as much just because, like, Sam Darnold's getting thrown.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Jones is gonna be that reliable dish off for the football for Sam Darnold. I think he's going to get that a lot, which is going to help in fantasy points.
And that's where he thrives. Yeah. He's so good in that role as a dump-off dude. And he could just make a nothing play into something.
Definitely.
The split RB room, does that scare you, Ty Chandler?
No, Ty Chandler was pretty disappointing last year, honestly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a reason why they brought them in. Obviously, to a division rival as well, too. So, I think the games where they played the Green Bay Packers, he's going to explode.
I don't believe in him. I don't think he's that good. I'm going to be honest. I think it's kind of over for Aaron Jones. I think he's a lot younger than I thought he was. I thought he was probably 32, 33, if I'm being honest. But he's only 29. I just don't think he has the talent that he had at one point. You know, it was like, like, why is A.J. Dillon taking touches from you? A.J. Dillon's a fat ass. Like, what are we doing? So...
Yeah, that's Mr. Quads right there.
Quadzilla. That's all he has, honestly.
Yeah.
He has he's got bigger quads than his touchdown numbers. So.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Jones, like, He's definitely been better before, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I think he still has a year or two left in him before he really like starts to like
Progress.
fall off and from the face of the earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you got at 15?
15. I got one of my favorite players in the NFL, dude. I really love watching this dude run the ball, and that's David Montgomery. If he loses snaps this year to Jahmyr Gibbs, he finishes the RB9 last year and was under 50% of the snap shares.
Yeah.
So, he could be at 40 instead of 48 and still finish as the RB15, which is where I have him. He's still, entering his prime years. I believe he's turning 27 this year.
Yeah.
And the Lions offense, that shit ain't going nowhere.
No.
That ain't going nowhere at all. And he's their red zone guy as far as running the ball goes. Him and Laporta are going to get those touches. I think he's due for another big year, bro. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes higher than 9.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he finished at 15 either.
Yeah. I had him a little bit higher than you, so I honestly really, really praise the talk. So I completely agree, honestly.
Yeah.
I just had him a few spots higher, so we could talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
But 15, I got Devon A. Chain is where I had him.
Jeez.
So it's just a few spots above you. I was a Devon A. Chain hater, I'm not going to lie.
Because he fucking hung 70.
Yeah, I don't like to remember that. But he's honestly, bro, if he was on any other team and he wasn't on that team where he dropped that shit, he'd probably be like one of my favorite running backs, honestly.
Really? He'd be the RB 12, 11?
Maybe RB1. Nah, I'm just playing. I'm into the only really concern, and honestly the concern that everyone's talking about is his injury. But, it's only been his first season in the NFL. I think he's going to play more games than what he did last year. So I don't think he's going to have at that explosive games where they drop 70 on a team. But I see him finishing as the RB15 definitely in this case.
I don't know. I just don't want. I don't want to call the shot, because he could be the RB15 or the RB 30. And I think
he starts over Raheem at the end of the season.
Really?
Yeah.
I think if Raheem slides, if he's off your the way you have it, yeah. But I just don't think he's going nowhere, bro. He was too good last year. He was so good last year, and I feel like he didn't get the credit he deserves. I know he's 32, but come on, bro. Age is just a number.
Yeah.
That's your motto, right?
What? Whose motto?
I didn't say nothing.
That's crazy.
My number 14, I think this is the safest player in the top 20. I think what this guy is. He's going to get you 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Ken Walker. I think, this is his range. He's going to be a top 20 running back this year for sure. I really believe in that. Zach Charbonnet had his year last year to kind of prove what he was, and he proved it. He proved he's ass. He's not on shit. So I got Ken Walker here at 14. I think, it's a safe range for him. He finishes the RB16, RB15.
Yeah,
RB14.
Definitely. I think, honestly, I'm a couple spots above, but I wouldn't really, debate with you on that position. He got that AP haircut. Did you see that?
Yeah, he's bald now.
Yeah, he bald. And he kind of looks like AP now, so it's, kind of crazy.
MVP season?
MVP season? Possibly.
Potentially.
Possibly. Maybe. I mean, maybe. But I completely agree, honestly. Charbonnet, there's no competition there. He's the clear RB1. I think he's going to be that guy in the red zone, going to be that guy when rushing the ball most of the time, 80% of the time, maybe even 90. We'll see. But completely agree.
Comp.
14, I had Alvin Kamara. This is where I had him.
Dude, I don't have him on my list.
Really?
No.
See, the backfield's a little weird because they got Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams, and I think they're both 29. And then the RB3.
Is Jamal Williams the same age as him, bro? I thought he was
age.
old.
I think they're the same age. I'm pretty sure. You can fact check that real quick. And then the RB3 after that is Kendra Miller. So it's Kendra Miller's the future. I think Kamara and Jamal Williams is going to be the guys for the next couple seasons. And then after that, they're pretty much going to give the torch to Kendra Miller, in my opinion.
He's from Rialto.
Jamal?
Yeah.
Shout out Rialto.
Shout out Cali. They're the same age.
I think AK had a bounce back season last year, and a lot of people sometimes forget about that. They're pretty much in the same situation now in New Orleans. I think Kamara has another solid year. Last year, where did he finish? He finished 19 last year. So that's just a couple spots more above.
What do you have? How many touchdowns did he have last year? Oh, I could find it. I guess I'm here. He had 5 touchdowns last year.
Mm-hmm.
Right now on Prize Picks and Underdog, I believe his line's at 4.5.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's enough for him to be warranted a top. Where is he? 13 spot, 14 spot.
14.
The number scares me, bro. Like 5 touchdowns isn't a top tier running back.
But he's also a receiving back too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they got him at 450 receiving yards. I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's dudes like James Cook last year who's a receiving back, and he also rushed for 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
His touchdown numbers, I think, were lower than Kamara's, but I think with the way that team kind of shaped out in the offseason, he'll get more than what he finished with last year.
Yeah. And I think the Saints, like, they're a weird team. I think Kamara was just trying to just run his numbers up at this point, honestly. Because there's no hope. There's no hope in there. There's only, like, Chris Olave is only, like light in the future, you know?
I think they need to move on from him, Kamara.
Kamara?
I think that offense is really stale. And if they're not going to move Derek Carr, then they need to do something else. And I think moving Kamara is the
Unleash Kendrick Miller?
unleash Kendrick Miller, exactly. And maybe trade for a receiver,
that.
too. Or they trade him for probably a 6th and a 5th. That's just how NFL trades work.
That's how they work, honestly.
My number 13, this is where I had Isaiah Pacheco, who is a dude that I wanted to put a lot higher.
Yeah.
It's the first year where he kind of comes in as the clear-cut RB1. Last year, there were still questions about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I believe someone else, and I'm blanking on the name. Maybe McKinnon was there in the offseason.
I think he was.
There was names last year that kind of scared people away from Pacheco, and he finished as the RB17. I just think as the years go on, we're waiting for Travis Kelce to not be the end zone guy for them. Mm-hmm. And whenever that is, I believe a lot more in Pacheco, but I just don't know if it will be this year. You know, I think he was a very important part for them winning the playoffs. Like, them being able to kind of lean on him and not have Mahomes have to just make something happen with the shitty receiver core that Mahomes had. Pacheco being able to punch the ball in is going to be nice for them next year.
No, definitely. I really like Pacheco, honestly.
Yeah.
I have him in my top 10.
Really?
So I guess we can talk about that a little bit later. But
you know what it is? Sorry for cutting you off, but I think there's a lot of dudes that I really like.
No, definitely. Like, I wish I could put a lot of these guys higher.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's such a good list, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just how the league is, you know? There's so many good skill players now.
Yes, definitely.
So.
I think when I wrote my list out, Pacheco, Ken Walker, and Najee, I had in my top 10. And then after adjusting it, it kind of moved around. But yeah, who's your 13?
Definitely. 13, that's where I had Kenneth Walker.
Okay.
We kind of already talked about him. Situation in Seattle, I think, you know, it's the best situation he could ever be in right now. Mm-hmm. So, especially at the point of his career, it's like his 3rd year or something. That's really where, like, running backs start to, like, you know, take off. So, I think that's where he's going to be.
His, like, big year?
Big year.
My number 12, this is where I had Josh Jacobs. Is he on your list?
He's on my list. I really like him.
Yeah, I didn't like him going into this. I like him a lot now. I think the only thing that scares me is last year, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon combined for 4 touchdowns on the ground. Mm-hmm. They caught a lot more. It feels like Josh Jacobs doesn't fit their system. Like, he's a runner. They don't really rush in the red zone. He's not a pass catcher. He's never caught a passing touchdown. Aaron Jones did do that. So I think it just depends on LaFleur, really. Like, if he utilizes him right, I think Josh Jacobs could end up as an RB1 next year. Mm-hmm. But there's no history that makes me feel like that he'll do that. Yeah. You know? And I think that's where the problem is. It's like Josh Jacobs is too much of a I don't know. I would like him as my RB2 on my fantasy team, like as far as like after the draft goes. But I just don't know if I could trust him as like an RB1 because what if they don't use him? And then what's his name? Marshawn Lloyd. He's looked good. I know the coach is having problems with him because he's always injured. But when he's not injured, like the reason he's having problems with him is because he looks good, and you want that guy out there. Yeah.
No, definitely. I just think that the Packers never really had a chance to work with a running back like Josh Jacobs.
Like, yeah, and that's true too. But maybe that leads to a rough year this year, and next year they figure it out. So there's just too many questions there for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I respect that. 12, I got the king.
Jeez, that's fucking low, Will.
Low?
That's low. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, better than last year, where I didn't even have him on my list. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that reminds me. I guess I'll do it next week. I'll do it right now. I took notes on that last year's wide receiver video,
Receiver or running back?
the receiver one, and then I'll do the running back one for next week.
Yeah.
But these are just some of our bad takes. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You had Jerry Jeudy at 20, which like isn't the worst. I had some very bad ones, bro. I had Michael Thomas in my top 10.
Thomas? Oh, shit.
I had Kadarius Toney at 17.
Sheesh.
I said D Hop was a top 3 receiver, which I don't think is that bad. Like as far as like receiver wise, not fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
These are good takes. You predicted Amon-Ra breaking out, baller. I predicted Devontae Adams having a down year because of the quarterback play.
Awesome.
So we had some good takes, some bad takes.
Can't be perfect, you know.
Can't be perfect, but yeah, sorry.
No, that's great. That's great. Next video, talk about the running back breakdown.
Yes.
But yeah, King Henry, honestly, you know, he's still gonna finish as an RB12 in my opinion.
Bro, I
But
don't.
It's like, bro, there's so much going on in Baltimore. You got Lamar rushing. You got 2 other running backs in the backfield. It's like there's no way he's gonna like be that guy always, you know.
You know, 4 of the last 5 years he's finished in the top 5 of running backs.
But that's with Tennessee. Now he's on a new team. New team, new coaching system. I think it's going to be different for him. Obviously, they look at the past years with the Titans, and like they know how he works. But it's not going to be the same.
Bro, I don't know. I think that's a bad take, bro.
Never-
Gus Edwards last year had 13 touchdowns. What do you think Derrick Henry's going to do?
Derrick Henry's old.
You think Gus Edwards is better in the red zone?
Not better.
Then what?
But like Gus Edwards, like what did Gus Edwards finish last year?
13 touchdowns.
Like like on fancy.
I have him
he
coming
finished
up.
at 14.
I have him coming up.
So it's like, you know,
Not
coming up is crazy. So it's just a couple spots ahead of Derrick Henry. So it's like,
Bro, but no. Derrick Henry's a better rusher. Like, Derrick Henry's going to get you 1,000 yards. He's going to do that. Gus Edwards got him 800 last year. If he gets 14, 15 touchdowns, bro,
yeah,
that is not the RB 14.
I'm at 12.
I mean 12, wherever.
Yeah.
That is a top 5 season again.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
You're sleeping on the king, bro.
I guess I'm just a hater.
You're sleeping on the king, bro.
I want to see where you have him.
You like them young boys.
Yo.
You like them young boys like NBA.
Sheesh.
Oh,
What's your 11?
My number 11, this is where I had Ramondre Stevenson. Had him? Didn't have him?
I actually don't have him on my list.
I just think there's no real competition in the backfield, and I think the offense is going to be better than last year. He finished as the RB 35 last year, but the year before that, he was the RB 13.
Yeah.
So I think with like Drake May there, I think DeMario Douglas is going to have a big year, Jalen Polk, and then Ramondre. Like, I think that offense actually, I'm not going to say it's going to be great or good, but I think it could surprise some people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, bro, that offense is so shit.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Compared to last year. But this year,
Compared to
that sounds
last.
better, right?
I think it's a little bit of upgrade. What did they really get? Just Jalen Polk? That's it?
And Drake May
And
lost the worst
Drake
fucking
May?
starting quarterback in the league.
That's true. But, I mean, there's so many questions with Drake May, too. So it's like,
He looked good yesterday.
he did.
He looked
Yeah,
good
he did.
yesterday.
I'm hoping the best for him. So, I mean, we'll see. But I actually didn't have him on my list, so that's pretty funny.
I think that's fine, though.
Yeah. Number 11, this is where I had Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay.
Main concern is injury, honestly. So it's like, if he didn't have that hamstring issue that was talked about not too long ago, I'd probably have him a lot higher.
Yeah.
But like now, like with that, and it's like, why risk like, you know, playing him? Like, I don't think he's gonna play all games throughout the season. I think there's gonna be games where we see him rest.
Yeah? Shit.
I think if he did happen to play all games in the season, I had him a lot higher, honestly. But this is where I had him. I think he's still a great running back, a raw running back, you know, ability to catch the ball, run the ball as well. But with the competition with David Montgomery in the backfield, as long as he's there, it's going to be a split.
What do you think? How many games do you think he'll rest?
Maybe like, I would just say like a couple, maybe
Because
2 or 3.
last year he played 15 games, had 11 touchdowns, and finished as the RB10. So, like, 11 isn't a wild range. But I think with the chance of him not missing games, like, he could be a top fiver.
Yeah, he could be a lot higher for sure.
What's his range? What do you think, like, his ceiling and floor is?
Ceiling, I'd say 5. I'll put him at a 5, 5, 6 maybe. Floor, probably what I have him right now. Maybe a little bit lower, maybe like, probably what I have him right now, honestly.
I think he could be 1 to 15, bro.
1 to 15?
Yeah, I think he could be the RB1 next year. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't bet on it.
With Montgomery there too, though?
Yeah, I mean, he was the RB10 with Montgomery there. Like, he's 22.
Yeah.
He's younger than most rookies drafted last year.
Yeah.
So I think he definitely can be. But you guys let us know at home. What do you think? Comment down below what you think Jahmyr Gibbs' range is between 115, 30, and 40 if you're not high on him. If you're a hater, haters in the building. Next video, we got our 1 through 10 running backs coming at you live from the Playbook Sports Studio. We'll let them know what they need to do.
Y'all need to run the play, baby.
Run it.